welcome all, morena. Welcome to the 2022 ANZ Premiership media launch. My name is Adine Wilson and I will be your MC this morning. Can everyone hear me okay? Yes, awesome. Thank you all for making the time to attend. As with most events currently, things look a little different this year as we navigate our first Premiership launch via Zoom. Please note the Zoom will be recorded and you can request a copy from Kerry Manders from midday. The run sheet, well, it's pretty straightforward. We'll kick things off with a few clips celebrating 25 years of elite netball leagues. This will be followed by a message from Netball New Zealand CEO Jenny Wiley, after which I'll ask a question of each of the teams before opening to the floor. Please note all media attendees will remain on mute until the floor is open. And when we do open the floor, please raise your hand using the emoji down the bottom or the reactions, just so we can keep some law and order to the open session. Well, before we begin celebrating the past 25 years, we would like to say a huge thank you to all our partners for their support this season. And a special thank you, of course, must go to ANZ. This will be 14 years of support. We thank you all. And now for a wee clip as we take a trip down memory lane.
Here we go. Well, there are whistles, there are cheers, there are screams. Oh my goodness. Look at them go. These athletes are absolute champions. We love this game.
ANZ Premiership Netball returns March 13th. Live Sky Sport. Coverage brought to you by ANZ.
It's such a massive year, 2022, for netball in New Zealand. And this competition is that lead into Commonwealth Games and as we continue our journey to 2023 Netball World Cup. So looking for a fierce competition with lots of places up for grabs in Knowles' Commonwealth Games team. 2022 marks the 25th season of the National Netball Elite League in this country, which is a phenomenal milestone to have reached along with our various partners. And it's great to be able to celebrate and really bring those people to the fore that have paved the way for semi-professional female athletes in this country, our players, our officials, our coaches, and everyone that works in behind the scenes. It is such a mammoth effort and we're really excited to get that season underway. To have such a fantastic partner like ANZ Bank beside us all the way with this for the last 10 years has been integral in the success of this league. And we're really fortunate to have them involved, supporting women's sport and New Zealand women as well, and right down from elite to community. So it's an all-embracing relationship. We all know that the 2022 season is going to look and feel different for our fans, for our members, for our teams and players. So what we are doing is making sure that we remain really flexible in how we approach it. And in behind the scenes, everyone is working incredibly hard for this game that we absolutely love. I just want to thank all of our partners who are phenomenal supporters of women's sport in our country. ANZ, Sky Sport, and all of our league partners who really are the backbone of what it takes to make this happen across the country and support our league. We really all do love this game.
Certainly some special times and some great memories with so many familiar faces still involved in the elite game of netball. But enough reminiscing, it's time to take a look ahead at 2022. We begin with the MG Mystics. Welcome Michaela, Sulu and Helene. If you just take yourselves off mute there. Michaela, I'm going to throw the very first question of today's launch at you. How is your body and mind after such a big break for you personally, away from your passion of netball?
Body is good. I have been doing full training since we came in December. Mind is really good. I'm just excited to get out there and see what I'm made of now.
Well, from the Stars, we head slightly down State Highway 1 and we're joined by Kitty Wills and Maya Wilson. Kitty, like many coaches, this has been a pretty disjointed pre-season. How have you pulled the team together with such a limited build-up?
I think the main thing to remember and to remind ourselves is that that's just the way things are. I think if we worry about things too much and stress about things that are out of our control, that's really wasted energy. So we just take every opportunity to be together, no matter how many people are out on the floor or how many are at home or wherever they may be across the other side of the world. We take every opportunity to train hard. It has been great for our girls who didn't go away with the Silver Ferns. They got some really decent input into their pre-season, and I think you can look forward to seeing some massive gains from those girls who were at home while the Ferns were away. But yeah, it's take it as it comes and give it heaps.
Good fighting talk there, kids. We love to hear it. Right, we shift now south of the Bombays and welcome Mary Jane Arara and Sam Sinclair. Now, MJ, you are the only new head coach this year. How much of a step up has it been?
Oh, it's been massive, really, and really appreciate all the predecessing coaches that have been here before myself. And of course, with the added having to navigate through COVID and what this pandemic is presenting to us, it's just, made us more resilient, I guess. And, we're relentless at trying to stay on track. And yeah, so it's been interesting.
Interesting and resilient. I think that's going to be the word of the season. Well, staying in the North Island, we reach the Pulse. Welcome Yvette and Kelly. Yvette, you have 5 personnel changes with a very strong Australian contingent joining. How is your new side gelling, particularly with those new girls that have crossed the ditch?
Yeah, it's been exciting to have the return of those who've been before, and it's been nice for me to have a bit of a change and, as you say, some new players in the mix. And like everybody, just trying to be agile and adjust and look at the skill set that people bring and try and, help them express their best potential. So far, so good.
We jump now across the strait and welcome the Trident Home Tactics. And they're represented by Coach Marianne Delaney-Hoshek and Kimmy Poi, who's sometimes disappearing into the background of that beautiful red. The joys of different backgrounds, right? Well, Marianne, I'm going to throw this question at you. 2 straight grand finals. How much pressure this season is there to finally secure a title?
Well, we've got a bit closer, haven't we? I think we were a few goals out the first year and we were sort of 1 turnover away, but I think you have to acknowledge how difficult it is to get to a final, first and foremost. But the only sort of pressure that we have is on ourselves and how we want to perform in the competition. So whilst we would definitely love one and we'll be doing all our best to do it, we're only focusing on ourselves.
And finally, the Deep South, my spiritual home. Leanga, the big change for you guys is in that circle. There's the change with Saviour Tui steps in, a swap for Tiana Matuaro. What does Tui bring? Is it a different box of tricks?
Yeah, it is a different box of tricks. She's definitely a different player, but very strong in the air, really solid with her shot. So I think I'm just hoping with a bit more consistent court time out there that she shows us all the tricks that she's got up her sleeve. So really looking forward to seeing what she can bring.
Thank you all for your opening comments. Now we are going to open it to the floor. Please raise your hands if you have a question and I'll direct it to you, and then take yourself off mute. There will be a chance if you want to speak directly to a team and ask more in-depth questions. If that is the case, pop a message in the chat and we'll organise a breakout room at the end of this launch for you. There will also be time for follow-up questions with teams, and that is to be directed to Kerry, and she can also set up blinders. But for now, anybody want to kick things off with the first question? I'll try to go across both screens so I can see who's on. Kate Wells, we'll start with you.
Hi, thanks, Adine. This one's for MJ. Of course, the big question is who's going to replace Katrina Rore. Obviously, great news for her and her family, but also a big loss for you guys.
Yeah, look, we want to congratulate both Trina and Joel on their news, and it is still quite early stages for us, but we're hugely supportive of what needs to happen for them. And yeah, so really for us, it's just early stages and we've got things to work through, but just really congratulating them and really excited for them really, and having them in the Magic whānau and having a little addition to it too. So yeah, so it's just, we've got some work to do around that.
Yeah, and I've just got one more for Maya Wilson. How has it been coming back into the ANZ environment after the quad series? Obviously, some players were impacted by COVID. Has it been a bit of an adjustment, or you're ready to get into it?
Yeah, I definitely think not just for myself, but any one of us Ferns that were stuck in a box for a wee while, it is tough for whether you get COVID or you don't get COVID. Being isolated with it, half an hour of walking time is a bit of itchy feet for all of us. But yeah, it was nice to get back with the team. I guess for us, any team, you're just trying to run with the punches. We at the Stars are just knowing that tomorrow's never promised. So whatever moments we have together, we need to cherish it. And knowing that it's something like 6 days for us is a bit, 7 days is crazy to see it, but very exciting things ahead.
Great, thank you.
Storm, the floor is yours.
Thanks. Hi guys, it's so nice to see you all looking so great. I'm super excited for the week. I've just got a quick one. Well, a quick one for each captain, if that's okay, Dean. If I could just get each captain, starting with the top of the north, making their way down the country. You can't say yourselves, but I just need you all to tell me who's going to win this year and why. And you can't say yourselves. Thank you.
Sorry, but we're playing to win. But for the final, and looking, to be honest, everyone's looking super strong. I'd say that the whole competition looks very solid. So it's going to be who turns up each game with whoever they've got on the court, and who's able to work with whatever combination goes out there. Because I don't expect that it'll be the same 7 every game.
Super diplomatic, but I need an answer. So Mickey, maybe you can be the captain that gives me an answer.
It's hard one, Stormy. It's going to be us, but I reckon the final will go Mystics Pulse.
Oh, this is hard. I would love, personally, I'm going with the diplomatic, but I would love to see an all Auckland final. We got really close last year and weren't able to put it in the end. So I'd love to take my old mates across the bridge for a run for their money.
I'll go Magic Tactics final, and we'll deprive Tactics of another win. Sorry, Tactics.
I'm going to go with Pulse Mystics final. Just Mystics are the reigning champions, so they've got the target on their backs this year.
Yeah, that's a hard one. I'm sort of like the others, but I'm guessing Magic have got a new look team. So I'm thinking, apart from us, the Magic.
Yeah, I'll just go Mystic, reigning champions. They need to go back to back.
Love it. Thanks, guys.
Andrew, I think you had your hand raised next.
Okay, I'll try not to ask one that tricky. But Mary Jane, just on Katrina again, is there any chance of her playing any part in the start of the season? And also just how is Amelia Ann in terms of her return to action after having her child?
Yeah, Katrina, we are yet to sit at the table, and like I said, it was we are in her early stages, and so it's up to her really how far she wants to go into it with her pregnancy, and so we're holding those discussions this week with her. Amelia Ann, she's doing really well. We're so pleased with what she brings to the team, and obviously her leadership and also her knowledge throughout the court. And so we've been really pleased, but she is on quite a strict return to play plan. And so we're really mindful that we have to ensure that it's a longer journey for her, not necessarily what's happening in the ANZ space now. So, but obviously, she's a fantastic person and comes in and wants to add value to our environment, and that's done with open arms.
What does that probably look like then in terms of minutes in the first month of the season?
It's limited, put it that way. Look, yeah, it's a staged time on court for her, and really we're in constant kōrero with the Silver Fern team, and just to ensure that if there is any ability to increase that time, that we can, and that's all down to how she's testing and following her program.
Oh, cool, thank you.
Lucy.
Hi everyone. I'm really interested to know from Yvette, obviously there's an added challenge this year with COVID and everything, and how you're preparing differently to ensure that you have always got enough cover and things like that when it comes to teams taking the court throughout the season.
Kia ora, Lucy. Yeah, constant challenge for all of us in terms of having player depth. That's something we've all worked really hard on to create our own NNL programs that give us depth that we can draw on. So that's our first focus and first port of call. But I think, as everyone said, being agile is really key. Making sure that within our groups that we've got enough depth, and 10 doesn't seem very deep some days, but that's all we've got to work with. So look, I think for all of us, it's just managing the same old protocols across the country around the wellness and looking after each other and looking after that space. But most of all, we're really wanting to make sure that we support our NNL players, and that they're the first people we look to.
Excellent, thank you.
Bridget?
Hi, hopefully you can hear me.
Yes.
Cool, okay. Yvette, Tiana Matura and Alia Dunn have got a lot more experience now compared to when they first paired up in 2018. How is that shooting combination looking?
Yeah, well, sometimes it's exciting and sometimes it's a bit hair-raising, but certainly they have had some time together, which is always, really positive. Sometimes I don't know what they're going to come up with, but they are a really enjoyable group, appearing to be around, and we look forward to them expressing what we think is a really good potential. It's been obviously for Tiana, having had that time with Ranga and the steel has really helped her game, and that's really added value. And so we recognise that we're the benefactors of that as well. And Alia I guess her high percentage is always a real asset. So look, hopefully they can coordinate themselves and not get too tricky.
Cool. And Yvette, you or one of the coaches might be able to say, is there a protocol for postponing a game? Like if X amount of players get Omicron or have to self-isolate, has a threshold been set?
Yes, currently under the ANZ Premiership for 2022, the new rule is that you have to have 4 or more players who are affected by COVID, and it's not an assumption that you will get that game deferred, but you can apply through the ANZ Premiership Commissioner, and they will look through the medical records and then decide whether that will be applied to your team or not.
Okay, thank you.
If you can just take your hand down if you've finished with your questions, just so we know you haven't got any follow-up. And Suzanne, your turn.
Hi, sorry, I didn't know how to unmute. Question for Helene. This is a totally different approach for you this year, I imagine, being champions. How does that change your approach to the season, and how hard will it be knowing that you do have that target on your backs?
Yeah, it's a totally different approach for us. And I guess one of the key things I did very early on in the off season was sit down with Mickey and Sulu, and we talked about what do we do now when to get people to chase us and not catch us. So as a team, we looked at where we think our gaps are and where we think we can still improve. And we've set some standards for ourselves that we hope will keep us ahead of the game. And no matter what's being thrown at us in the pre-season, we just keep training hard and bringing our best selves to training, because every training is a gift at the moment in Auckland. So that's been our approach.
Sure. And Sulu, do you feel the same as that? As a player, how do you mentally prepare for that?
I've definitely learned, probably just personal experience, to live in the moment. So it's been really good with all these challenges. For someone that's a natural person that worries, you can't, because you can't predict what's going to happen next week. You've got to live day by day. So that's what we're doing. We're just taking things day by day. Whoever turns up to training is who's there for that day. We make sure that we train with purpose and then take on the next day as it comes. So that's the attitude that we're having, but also making sure that we balance that with compassion, because everyone's got some shiz going on for themselves outside of netball, and we want to enjoy netball, but also we want everyone, all of our people, to be in a good space, to make sure that we look after each other.
Thank you.
I can't see any other hands raised at the moment. Jenny Wood, surely you've got a question. I can see your name on there. There'll be something burning away. Oh, Bridget, speak you to it. Bridget, go for it.
Oh, kia ora. Thank you, Aideen. I've just got a question for Shannon and Ringa. You've had two relatively high-profile Aucklanders come down south for this year with Kate Burley and also Saviour Tui. So just wondering how they're settling into that good old Southern lifestyle down there.
I'll go first. I think they're settling in really well. The other day I sort of had to think about, remind myself that they are new to our environment. It's been quite seamless. I think for both of them, they've been lucky that the weather's been nice and warm. So Kate has gone to buy winter pajamas and an electric blanket and all this sort of stuff. And I think last night she may have had to use that. But in terms of them settling into how we roll and how we do things down here, they're both doing really well. Their effort that they've brought and the energy has been fantastic. And Kate's really chatty, and we need that down here because we're quite conservative and quiet. And she keeps us, reminds us that we're alive and chews our ear off half the time. So no, really good. Saviour, obviously a little bit more quieter than Kate, but she's been training really hard and working really hard. And so the effort that she's brought has not gone unnoticed.
Oh, cool. Thank you very much.
Toby, the floor is yours.
This is for Sammy. On the international stage, Kirsten and yourself work together as a really strong centre wing defence option. I was wondering, how excited are you to work on the combination on a consistent basis?
Kia ora, Toby. Yeah, we're really excited. It's been really nice, I guess, for both of us as well, coming back from being overseas at the start of this year. So we are like kind of on an even footing in terms of our time with the team. So we're really enjoying working together, just coming back into it, but also in those positions. And I guess now with Katrina likely not in the mix, she's also a good wing D runner, so that added a bit of flavour to it. But yeah, potentially a bit more consistent, I guess, combination looking ahead. So yeah, excited for that, and should be good.
Now, Jenny Woods hasn't quite figured out how to do a raise your hand reaction. So Jenny has private messaged me, and Jenny, the floor is now yours.
Well, thanks for calling me out, Adine. A question actually for Kiri Wills. Just wondering about the fact that you have two of your foundation people coming back, Holly Fowler and Kayla Johnson. What are they bringing to the team?
Oh, they're hot wingedy goldies, aren't they? They're bringing quite a bit of heat to those positions. They're both very good at attacking ball forward. So, you know, we've got Mystics with their big target at the back. If we can break down the ball early, that's what we're going to do. And those two definitely add height and power through that middle of the court. So, yeah, looking forward to them having a hunt and getting their hands on the ball. But equally, they're very, very good attackers. So getting that transition ball out of our defensive end and quickly down to our attack is something that both bring as strengths. So very excited about seeing them back, and it's so good to have a stable team this year, given the challenges that everybody's facing in terms of players in and players out. To only have two players come back, both of whom have played for us before, is definitely something that we're valuing right now.
Thanks, Kiri. I wondered too if I could have a little follow-up question, but for not to you, to Marianne Delaney-Hoshek. I wonder if, you know, losing Jane Watson, well, not losing her, I just wondered what sort of, will she play any role as she awaits the birth of her baby, or is it all over to you, Kimiora?
So we've still got Jane involved, because with Jane, what you get is a whole lot of leadership and experience. So she sort of worked out so that she'll still be with us throughout, and you'll see her sitting on our secondary bench, and she'll have some input into the leadership. But definitely with a player like that, you want to keep them involved as much as possible. But I've got to say, Kimmy's doing a fantastic job. So she's a totally different leader than Jane, and I think that's what makes it quite special, that she's brought her own flavour to that role. And you'll see that she's not one that yells at people. She probably doesn't have time because she's running so fast anyway. But, you know, she brings a really quiet, confident leadership, and yeah, I'm really excited to see her flourish this year.
Thank you. I'd like to wish you all the very best too, each and every one of you.
Thanks, Jen. Bridget.
Hi, yeah, a question for Yvette. The last couple of years, the Pulse have adopted more of a one-on-one tight defensive style. Is that going to continue this year?
Kia ora, Bridget. Yeah, look, I think it's been part of one of the strategies, and probably a bit more predominant than other methods. But I think one of the challenges is just adapting to who we have around us and some of that new personnel. And obviously one of the big challenges with one-on-one is really that ability to have a high conditioning level as well. So we're looking at trying a number of things, but that will still be part of our mix for sure.
Cheers.
Go for it, Toby.
This is for Helene. I was just wondering, how is Monica Faulkner settling into such an established attacking lineup?
Yeah, hi Toby. Monica's been an absolute delight, if I'm being honest. I think having a new shooter in our environment who comes with some experience, but you know, fighting to get back on court after some period of time with injury has been really good. And what I'm really excited about with our whole shooting circle is they all bring such different dynamics to our attacking end. So Monica's court craft and ability to read play and the silky thread between her and the mid-quarters has been quite exciting to watch. So I think people will be excited when they see her take the court with either Fielder or Grace.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, Andrew.
Just one for Sam Winders. Just how's it been sort of in pre-season, having, I guess, an influx of players, but then also, like Mary Jane said, having Amelia Ann on a minutes limit, now having Katrina's, great news. How has that all been sort of to deal with for a team that's obviously coming off a pretty rough season last year?
I think combined with, I guess, the environment we are all in at the moment with COVID makes us quite adaptable anyway. And if we've learned anything from the last couple of years, it's that you just keep turning up every week and working with what you've got. So I guess despite the challenges that we work with every day anyway, we've got a really great group of girls who are just ready to turn up and have a go and actually enjoy each other's company, but all have a really high work ethic. So I think like our approach is that we work as hard as we can for each other, especially with all these things that are happening around us. And so I guess with that approach, it doesn't seem like such a drag. And the obstacles aren't so much obstacles, but just things that happen along the way. So yeah, positive mindset.
Oh, cool, thanks.
Lucy.
Just last one from me for Marianne and Kimmy. Being involved in the 25th years of the National Elite League, your thoughts on that, and I suppose with the likes of Super Rugby or Picky only just beginning, and it's now 25 years of that netball's had this women's comps. Just your thoughts on that.
I think, especially coming from the mainland, it's such a special time. Mainland has gone through all these different obstacles, and I suppose that's just like every other region. And then being able to play at that elite level for 25 years, we're super lucky. We get to do or play netball as a job, whereas just like you said, the rugby girls, they're only just starting their journey. So I think we're super special to be able to do this, and we're just looking forward to putting another good year out there.
I'd just like to add that it's about time that some other females got some money to do what they love as well. I think it's been a long time coming, and although there's still a massive gap between us and some other sports, and obviously rugby is a real leader in that sort of sponsorship revenue sort of side of it, but it's really nice to see people getting recognised. And also, it's going to be a really fun year revisiting that 25 years and all those people and characters from the past. So looking forward to it.
Thanks, guys.
I think you were one of those characters, Marianne, I'm pretty sure, in that last 25 years. Jess, did I see your hand pop up and then disappear? Did you have a question?
Yes, I do. Thank you. Mine is for the Pulse. Yvette, Claire and Amelia Ann have been two mainstays of the Pulse for a long time. What is it going to be like lining up against them for a different team now?
Yeah, I think you get a lot of changes, don't you, every season, and each team will have been through that at different times. But certainly the Pulse had a really set line for quite some time. So look, I think like everything, change is inevitable, and I think it's a positive. Always the first game when you meet people that you've known, it's generally a great catch up, and we always, you love them when they leave, and they've contributed a huge amount to this franchise. And so you go back out there and you're a competitor, but you always remain friends. And I think that's the important part that netball always brings, is people come and people go, but maintaining those relationships is really key. So we look forward to seeing them. But always we're there to compete as well.
Awesome, thank you.
Pleasure.
Jenny Woods.
Thanks, Nadine. Actually, question for Shannon, actually. I'm curious about George Fisher. Had just such a marvellous season with you guys last season. Then phenomenal, international season with the England Roses. How has she come back? How has she fitted into the Steel side this season, and how well do you want her to play this year, given that it's Com Games?
Yeah, I think she feels like she's come home a wee bit. She really enjoys being down in Invercargill, and she's definitely brought her form back from the quad series over in England. And I think she's really confident this year and contributing lots to the environment, which is cool to see. And I'm really excited to see what she puts out there, and I think she's going to be a good challenge for everyone.
Thank you.
Any last takers for questions before we set up some breakout rooms? No. No last minute hands. Just a reminder that if you did want to speak to Teams Direct, Kerry Manders is available to set up a blinder potentially, or there's also breakout rooms that we can set up as well. This recording will be available from around midday. And again, Kerry Manders is the one to talk to for that as well. Ladies, as in the girls and the coaches, if you can just hold on for a few more minutes, just in case we do need to set up those breakout rooms. But to everyone else, thank you so much for jumping online and being part of the launch. It's pretty exciting that it's so close now. Don't forget match 1, 2 p.m. this Sunday, live on Sky. Can't wait to see netball back on court 2022. Thank you very much.